bends and some hammers on that thing, and the Alpine pull-out seating deck. And when I got home, my father was like, "That's nice. Where's mine at?" So then we got in the car and had it.
Fresh like I just got a contract. Fresh like I just got a max. Roller desk, we ballin' to the max. Fresh like I got a contract.
Throwing it in my face, so I don't care.
Moving through the city, we be going. Roller desk, you pullin', now you know it. Fresher than a max contract. Pullin' up, we walking, now we walking in the back.
Yeah. Ready.
Fresh like I just got a contract. Fresh like I just got a max. Roller desk, we ballin' to the max. Fresh like I got a contract. Moving through the city, we be going. Roller desk, you pullin', now you know it. Fresher than a max contract. Pullin' up, we walkin' and we walkin' in the back.
Every time you see me, know I look like Stephen Curry money. Like finals every year, what you expect from me? I'm jiggier than lack of feel. Moving like a Revis if I play the field. I ain't seen a front entrance in about 6 months. I don't even know what it looked like. You still struggle with security, what's that life? I'm on a different wave at the Clippers game. Got your woman texting me while I'm talking to Doc. Phone ringing through the.
We are here. What's up, fans? How are y'all doing out there? It's your boy TPJ. I am here. We are live. We are back. This is Hoops and Brews, episode number 192. Today we have a special guest with us, reporter John W. Davis, coming to us via Skype, via satellite, as well as Pavy via Skype, via satellite, to talk the Last Dance, as well as a little bit of Pistons basketball. And then obviously John W. is a WNBA reporter, WNBA guru aficionado. We're going to get his thoughts on exactly what's going on in the WNBA and how he feels about free agency and what's been going on. Obviously, Pavy and John have a WNBA podcast that they do together. So, John, welcome to the show. Pavy, welcome to the show. Let's go ahead. Let's talk.
So, what's going on, guys?
How you doing today?
I'm great. Feeling good. What's up, man?
As always. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? You still in a mad upheaval over the Last Dance documentary? I'm
Yes.
sorry, but I can't. Just want you to know I'm never letting that go, by the way. So every time you tweet something, there will be a response for it. I'm just letting you know.
Nah, it's just like, not again. Maybe it's
You're
my
a troll.
fault. No, I'm not a troll. I'm sorry. Don't do that, bro, because I hate that. It's not like maybe it's my fault for expecting something different, but it's just like I was thinking this was a Bulls documentary more than a Michael Jordan documentary. I don't want to see a documentary upholding Michael Jordan like, ooh, look at me, I'm Michael Jordan. I was so great. That doesn't really interest me as much. It was certain things that me as a basketball fan, as a basketball quote unquote historian, things that I would want to know. If John Paxson had such an impact in that game, I would want to hear John. Like, I think it would be dope to hear John Paxson's thought process when Phil went in the huddle and say, hey, bro, who's open? John. At that point in time, John know he got to step up. What did you think about that, John Paxson? All he had to say was, man, yeah, Mike Fatty. And I was just like, man, I got to knock the shots down. I'm cool. But I don't want to hear Jordan talking about what everybody else did, bro. That's not interesting to me. At that point in time, it becomes just a less uplift Jordan fest. And I'm straight off that. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad documentary. It's a good documentary. I enjoyed it. But for me, somebody who knows all this information, I didn't find it very informative. I knew all this. But again, that documentary wasn't for somebody like me. It's for the casual fan or somebody who's younger than me who doesn't know this stuff, who may not know the greatness of Michael Jordan. I know.
This isn't about the greatness of Michael Jordan.
It is.
No,
They're
it's
literally
not.
uplifting him consistently. is everybody talking about Jordan and what the impact it made on Jordan?
It's been a bunch of people that I've seen tweeting being like, yo, it's really dope how they go,
it's all
tweeting
still
about, yo, it's
goes
really
in the eyes
dope
of Michael
how they
Jordan.
go into a bunch of different people's eyes and different, yes,
They're
but
not going into nobody else's eyes. They're still all doing the eyes of Michael Jordan.
I just think you just have unrealistic expectations for what this documentary is supposed to be. I don't know what you expect other than seeing the greatest basketball player of all time. Like when you watch. Did you watch the 5-part series on the Celtics Lakers rivalry?
Yeah, but yeah.
They dedicated a whole episode to Bill Russell. It was pretty much a whole episode dedicated to him. An entire piece dedicated to him. They didn't go into depth about Bob Cousy and all that. They talked about Bill Russell because he was the star of the show.
I mean, yeah, but that's cool. Yeah, but if it's dedicated to Bill Russell and it was point like, oh, this is the Bill Russell episode, cool. Then that's cool. The Celtics Lakers documentary wasn't like they talked about. They didn't have Larry Bird talking about Bill Russell. No, they probably had Bill Russell talking about Bill Russell or people talking about Bill Russell through their own viewpoints. I don't think it was what did this guy do for Bill Russell? What did that guy do for Bill Russell? At the point, this documentary was like, what did that do for Jordan? What did that guy do for Jordan? When you gonna mention, oh yeah, they put Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson and he guarded him. What does Scottie think about that? That ain't something y'all want to hear?
You got to think about it. Pav, you got to think about it like this though. Since Michael Jordan has retired, we rarely hear from him in interviews. We rarely have access to him. He barely does press. So that's why the focus is about Michael Jordan. Plus, like, he was the one who had to give permission to use this footage. Like, this is his footage. It's his documentary. So we kind of got to accept it like that. You also brought up a good point about the fact that I think, and I agree with you, it is for people younger than us. I feel like it's for people like 25 and under. Like it's introducing Michael Jordan. And we're still not even at the halfway point. So they're still building up Michael Jordan. I think you might be more satisfied when they get to some issues because they started to show at the end of episode 4, they kind of showed Michael Jordan gambling. Mm-hmm. So if they get into that, get into some real issues around that. They've showed his father a lot, but they haven't even touched on his father's death yet.
Which they will.
I feel something like that. And then there are other players that you can still get into, and we can hear from Steve Kerr, who everybody loves Steve Kerr's appearances in the media. Mm-hmm. They love his persona and things like that, and they really love his perspective. And everybody feels like Steve Kerr keeps it real. So if there's more perspective from Steve Kerr, then I feel like you might be a little more satisfied with it going forward in totality. And you got to look at it as like, so think about it after the 10 chapters are over and you can go back on Netflix and binge watch the whole thing, no commercials. I feel like you might like it a little better than.
Nah, I've seen up to episode 8 and it gets worse. Like it gets more about even when they talk about Jordan retirement. To my knowledge, from what I saw, if I can think back, they didn't even have any of his teammates talking about what they do when they like what did they hear about, what did they think about it. These were all things that I would want to know. I also think it makes Jordan. For instance,
cares, bro?
For instance, even like episode 1.
It's not for you. It's just not for you. This documentary is not for you.
And there's nothing wrong with it saying that either.
And even episode 1, right? When they talked about Jordan's minutes restriction. Number 1, it was false. They said he was on a 14 minutes restriction. He played 22 minutes in the game that they were talking about. They made it appear as if that was the last game of the season. Also, if they would have correctly explained it and really highlighted it the way that it should have been highlighted, it would have made Jordan's point of him not trusting management resonate better. They just made it seem like management wanted to sit him down because they had a 14 minutes restriction on Jordan. And that Mike took it as y'all trying to tank. But when you see that they had a 14 minutes restriction, but he still played 22 minutes in that game, but they set him down for the last 26 seconds, then it makes Jordan think about, oh, damn, y'all trying to tank even make more sense. When you just say that, oh, he was on a 14 minutes restriction, and they set me down because I played the 14 minutes, even though it's 26 seconds left, it don't really highlight what Jordan was even thinking about. So it just certain things where I'm like, yo, that's false. It didn't happen like that. Now, granted, yes, obviously it's not for me. Maybe I just know too much. Maybe I just care too much. But it's just certain things that like, yo, I want to hear what everybody else thought. Like the same way you don't get to hear Jordan talk. You don't get to hear nobody talk about this whole situation that much.
But the whole point of this
You don't get to hear
is to
Scottie Pippen
highlight
talk?
that last season.
Not really
All right, bro.
about this type of stuff. When do you ever hear Scottie
The
Pippen
whole
talking about
point,
Jordan retirement?
All
the
right,
whole
bro.
point is to
He
highlight the
talk.
last
He
season.
talk every day on TV.
No, but he's not talking about these issues. Like he's not
Does
talking
he
about
not get
man.
screen time in the doc though?
But listen, no, but again, it's certain issues that I would like to hear him touch on. I want to know when they say, "Oh yeah, we put Scotty on Magic." Well, okay, Scotty, if you had such a huge part in this final series, what was it like guarding Magic? Say, yeah, I knew how to step up and take a challenge against Magic Johnson. That's it. I'm cool with just that. Or yeah, man, like Mike said that he,
That's not what it's about though.
that's
They're
weak.
bouncing back, and that's your opinion. But they're bouncing back and forth in the timelines, and it's about the last season. They're just using all of this for context and all of that for historical
Thank you.
perspective, going back and forth on. It's like I think if you could cut out the portions where it's just about the last season, then I feel like that would elevate the documentary, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they have to go back and give you context. Otherwise, you won't have any idea as to
Right.
anything that
And
happened.
that's the context. And that's the context for the 25 and under. Or that's the context for people who are just not familiar with Michael Jordan. And
Yeah. But I mean, what do you think about the series overall? What do you have you learned anything new? Have you as a Detroit fan, are you having any nightmares about what happened before? Obviously, I'm sure you were probably a kid during the 80s when they were kind of winning during the 80s.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on it?
well, I was growing up with the two-time back-to-back Detroit Pistons championships. And as a child, I just remember I didn't like Michael Jordan because he was an adversary of the Pistons. But I mean, when you think about it realistically, at the Pistons' peak, he only beat them once.
Yeah.
Pistons beat them 3 out of 4 years. So, I mean, eventually you're going to lose. You can't win forever. So,
Including the
I
Warriors.
don't really have a problem with looking back with the Bulls beating the Pistons because they were going to lose to somebody eventually. And it just happened to be them. And then once it was over, it was just completely over. But that's okay. You can't win forever.
Yeah, I'm not upset at that. I actually agree with a lot of that. Go ahead, Pavy.
How do you feel about the fact that I think one thing that people don't know is that the Pistons came so close to having a three-peat? They came this close to having a three-peat, and I think that's
Right.
And
I mean,
I think that's
Isaiah sprained his ankle.
I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah. They didn't talk about that. They didn't talk about that, but that's okay. I mean, I don't need the casual fan to know that the Pistons almost won 3 straight years because, like he said, this is a Michael Jordan documentary. They're not going to put that in there. Michael Jordan don't
Or the
care
fact
about
that Isaiah actually did have wrist surgery in 91. Did he? I remember watching the old game. I think Isaiah came back. Maybe I want to say a month before the playoffs. He actually did have wrist surgery and missed a large portion of the season and probably shouldn't have been playing because his wrist wasn't healthy.
Right. They weren't going to say that. But, I think all of those things matter. But, I mean, I think at that point, if Michael Jordan was going to change his game and absorb more contact and just be a more physical player, they probably would have beat him. Like Isaiah said in there, I thought we could have made it a more competitive series. But, I mean, yeah, they shouldn't have got swept 4-0. But Michael Jordan was going to win a championship eventually if he had Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant at that time. Like, they were going to win eventually. The Pistons couldn't win forever. Maybe they don't beat him that year. But, I mean, eventually they were going to win. So, I mean, I don't really care that they won in 91 because they didn't win in 90 or 89 or 88 or 87 or 86 or 85. So, I mean, Michael Jordan didn't win his first championship till he was 28. I mean, the Pistons got their time. You just can't win forever. But I never liked Michael Jordan as a child. I never liked him much as a teenager because he was just our rival. I didn't even, no offense to y'all, but I don't even really remember going to Chicago that. Like, we had family in Chicago, but I didn't want to go to Chicago as a child. I'm from Detroit. So I'm just looking at it from that perspective. And I just have that kind of pride, just like y'all have.
Okay. That's very understandable.
I mean, I was always in
But
Detroit growing up, personally.
but I love
You say
Chicago
you were
now.
always in Detroit?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
always in Detroit. I had cousins in Detroit, so I was always in Detroit growing up. Like always.
But did y'all have a rivalry, or was it like a little bit of back and forth? Like, oh, you from Chicago, I'm from Detroit.
Nah, not really. I mean, my thing was like they was for one they were from Southfield anyways. They was from the suburbs. So like when
Okay.
I was going out there, I was like, man, I live in y'all. I'm going to the suburbs. And like when they came out, they was like they coming to the city. So it's like I looked at it as like a vacation. Like it was like, yo, I get to go to the suburbs where like it's big houses. And, like y'all got lawns. This is cool. And
That's
then
true.
drive back to my place
That's
and it's
true.
like I'm in the inner city again. So like, nah, it really was never a rivalry. And I don't think they were as big of sports fans as me anyway. So like, nah, it was never really a rivalry with like me and my cousins at least.
And the other point I just like to add is, again, like the Pistons have already had their documentary. They already had the Bad Boys documentary. And so the Pistons already got their shine. I'm kind of like Pavy though. I wish that there were more characters in there, because for the Pistons, it was Dennis Rodman, obviously, because he was on the Bulls. So they already had access to him. Isaiah Thomas, who does media all the time, and John Sally. But I mean, there's no Bill Lambier, who
Bill and Bill wasn't
can
agreeing
talk
to
some
that
stuff.
documentary, man. Bill and Bill wasn't agreeing to do that
Bill
documentary.
Lambier wouldn't have
man.
got in there and talked some ish. Bill
I don't think he
Lambier
would
wouldn't have got
agree
in
to
there and
that
talked some ish. He
documentary.
just talked some ish on First Take the other day.
Yeah, but that's first
He
take.
wasn't in the
This is like
documentary?
a
Damn, I felt like I heard him.
Who?
Okay.
No,
Wow. Okay.
there was
Yeah, but
only
this-
they might have had a clip of him, but there was only 3 archival interviews from the Pistons.
Okay.
And then they had an assistant coach, Brendan Malone, Mike Malone's dad, the coach of the Nuggets. They had so there was 4 people affiliated with the Pistons who did modern day interviews. And like, no Joe D. I mean, Joe D was the main one on the perimeter guarding him. Love to get a little bit from him. So, but I know there's time constraints, and then you just got to work with budgets and different people's schedules and things like that. So I don't know, but I feel like you could have got Bill Lambier, Rick Mahorn, somebody
I just wanted some
other
more.
than Sally. Like Sally was not our enforcer.
Yeah, but you know Mike has got her.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, get Sally. Like it's a like yeah, it's a
Yeah, no,
it is
you're right.
it is a uplift Jordan piece.
It's not an uplift
you're
Jordan
finna
piece.
yes it is.
How can
It's
you
a-
uplift him
it's
more than
a
he's already been
uplift Jordan
uplifted?
piece. Like they doing in the damn documentary by saying that the man came off of minutes restriction. No, by saying he was on a 14 minutes restriction, then went to play fucking 48 minutes against the Boston Celtics. That's not what happened. He was on the minutes restriction 6 games before. When you leave shit out like that, it makes it the story even more incredible. And that's not what happened.
I will say it is making him look good.
It makes him look even more incredible. And it's like you don't have to do that. He's Mike. He is a basketball god.
I don't
You
agree
do not
with
have
you.
to leave shit out
I
to
do
make him
not
more
agree
incredible.
with you. I do not agree
I
with
don't
anything
care.
that you're
You,
saying.
you have to do it.
Everything you're saying is wrong to me. I
You
do
have
not
to
agree
do
with
it
I will
for
not
a
agree
different
with it. It don't make
population.
sense.
You have to do it for a different demographic.
No, you don't.
You have to do it
Tell
for
me
the
how it
Kobe,
happened.
LeBron.
Stop it. You can go.
Tell me how it
I'm
happened.
sure somebody from the 70s is probably, or the 60s is probably looked at that Lakers Celtics part and be like, you made Russell look better than he was supposed to look back then. Man, stop, G. Stop.
Tell it
bro.
how it happened.
Stop, G.
Tell it
Stop,
how
G.
it happened.
Stop.
Tell it how it happened. No, I don't care what you say,
It don't
bro.
matter.
No,
I don't care
and
what
I'm
you
not
say
getting over that.
either.
Tell it how it
I don't
happened.
care what you
Tell
say
it how it
either.
happened.
It don't
Tell it how it
matter.
happened.
I don't
When
agree with you.
when
I will
you
never
leave
agree with
things
you on
out,
this.
You insinuate things happen
You're
a
not
certain way that they
insinuating
did not
nothing.
happen.
Go back and look
Yes,
it
you
up.
are.
It's history. It's
Yes,
in the
you
books.
are. People not gonna do that. They're gonna read the documentary and think they got the whole story. That's the point of watching documentaries. You watch it, think you got the whole story.
All right. Okay.
Maybe.
All that being said,
What-
though, I'm not saying it's a bad documentary.
That's your
I like
opinion.
the documentary. I think the old footage is dope. I think it's a good documentary. But I'm just looking at it like there could be more.
Could there have been more in the Bad Boy Pistons documentary?
John, that's a question for you to
No,
answer.
that's a question for you
And
to
the
answer. I'm
Pistons,
asking you.
the one that the Pistons had? No,
Yeah.
not in the Pistons one.
I
Because
thought it was great.
They interviewed about everybody. That one
Yeah,
was
I thought it was
amazing.
great. Like I like to me personally, as far as like the best 30 for 30, that's got to be top
This
five.
man want to hear
I
Dickie
think that
Simpkins
one,
interview.
That one in Fab Five.
You want
the
to see
Fab Five
Orlando
was
Woodbridge
dope. I like
talk
the
about
Reggie
how he
Miller
felt
winning
seeing
time
Michael
one.
Jordan.
That was dope. But no, the Pistons one I thought was I felt like obviously Isaiah is Isaiah. but I feel like everybody for the most part got equal time. Mahone, like they told Rick Mahone's story as well as they told Isaiah Thomas's story, and Rick spoke about the things that Rick did. Bill Laimbeer spoke about the things Bill Laimbeer did. Joe Dumars spoke about the things Joe Dumars did. They didn't have Isaiah Thomas talking about when Joe Dumars' father died. Joe Dumars talked about when Joe Dumars' father died.
That's true.
Who talked about when who father
That's
died?
true.
I'm talking about they didn't have Isaiah
Who in the
Thomas
Bulls
talking
documentary
about
did something
Joe
like that,
Dumars.
though?
What you talking about?
No, he's saying Jordan is the narrator, essentially.
Yeah,
who is he?
yeah,
Who parent is he talking about dying though? You want to talk about?
That's not.
But you
but that's
insinuating
not-
that though.
not-
Same way you talking
No,
about they
no,
insinuating
that's
stuff that
not
didn't
what I-
happen.
no,
When you
that's
say that,
not-
you insinuating
that's
that.
not. No, that's
You
not what I
though.
said. No, what I literally just said before that was everybody told their own story. Rick Mahone spoke for Rick Mahone. Joe Dumars spoke for Joe Dumars.
Yeah,
Isaiah
but why you
Thomas
bring
spoke
up
for
somebody's
Isaiah
parent
Thomas.
dying? You making it sound like that moment happened in the documentary though. That's what I'm saying. It's the way you making it sound like a
He's
similar
just
moment
using that as
happened
an
in the
example.
documentary,
That's how I made that sound,
and Mike
John.
talking
That's how
about
I made
somebody's
that
parent
sound, John.
dying.
That's how I made that sound.
That's
John.
how it sounded to me.
No.
That's how it sounded to
No,
me.
TPJ.
Thank you.
T.
Thank
That
you.
was just an
Come
example.
on, man.
That was
Come
just
on,
an
man.
example. Because that's
No,
a
because he
similar
arguing
moment.
semantics. So if you want to argue semantics about what you can insinuate by leaving certain information out, don't make a comparison
You can't. I literally just sat here and said.
And
everybody
I
spoke
just
for
said,
themselves.
if you
They
gonna
spoke
make a
for them. They
compare,
spoke
but
for
yeah,
them.
but
They
you're
spoke
making
for
a
them.
comparison so you can make a direct comparison between a Bulls player talking
No, I'm
and a
not.
Pistons
Literally,
player talking. You
what-
are.
Literally, what I'm saying is Mike spoke for everybody else, and in this doc, everybody
Yes, but
spoke
what
for
I'm saying
everybody.
is when
That's
you
what I'm
bring
saying.
up
I know
dead
what you're
parents
trying
and all
to
that
do,
shit,
and
you
it's not
making it
right.
seem like Mike's speaking about people dead parents. He talking about the
No, I'm
games and
not.
shit. He
No,
ain't
I'm
talking
not.
about their
I'm saying
personal life.
everybody- No, I'm not. I'm saying everybody spoke for everybody. Everybody spoke for themselves.
All right,
is what
bro.
I'm saying.
Then say that, but don't bring up fucking.
I fucking
This
said
motherfucker
that.
was talking about
I
somebody.
literally
What if
just
he was
said
talking
that.
about somebody's
Did I not
dad
just say
dying?
that?
Come on,
I
man.
literally just said that. I literally just sat here and said that.
And I'm
you
te-
just picked out something
Fab.
because you want to have a
Fab.
point.
And no,
and be
it's
right.
not about me
I
wanting
literally
to have a
just sat there and
point.
said that.
It's not me
I
wanting to
literally
have a
just sat there
point,
and
bro.
said that.
All I'm saying is you ain't got to put
Alright,
that
bro.
in there because that's not what they did.
All right, bro.
Just make a correct analogy if you're gonna make a correct
I made a
analogy.
correct
You
analogy.
didn't.
I
You
literally
didn't.
said Rick Mahone.
Cause
I'm
Mike
fucking
ain't talk
just
about
because-
nobody parents or
Rick
nobody
Mahone
dying or
spoke
no
for
shit
Rick
like that.
Mahone. I
So
literally
when you
just
bring
said
up
right
shit
before
like
this,
that, if
Rick
somebody
Mahone spoke for Rick
listen to
Mahone.
this that ain't
So why
seen the
the fuck-
documentary will be like, damn,
I
they
literally
had
just
somebody
said Rick
talking about
Mahone
somebody else
spoke for
dying.
Rick Mahone.
Come
So
on.
why you ain't put out the fact I said Rick Mahone spoke for Rick Mahone? I literally just said that.
Yeah, and you said yeah, it wasn't somebody
Did I
speaking
not
on
right
somebody's
before
parent
then
dying.
Say Rick Mahone spoke for Rick Mahone.
And you just said,
Did I
yeah,
not?
it wasn't
You did
somebody
say
else
that.
speaking on somebody
Did I
else's
not?
parent
Did I
dying.
Did I
Yes.
not? Did I not?
G.
Was that the first example I
G,
used?
did
If
you
that was the
not?
first
Yes or
example I used,
no?
I feel
Did you not?
Did
Yes
I
or
not
no?
just sit there and say Rick Mahone spoke for Rick Mahone first?
And did after
We can
that,
keep
and
going.
after that,
Mark
and
Aguirre
after
spoke for
that,
Mark
and
Aguirre.
after that, and
Adrian
after
Daly
that, and
spoke for
after
Adrian
that,
Daly.
and
Everybody
after
spoke
that,
for everybody.
and after that, did you not say they didn't have somebody else talking about somebody else's parent or something like that dying? That's the fucking thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about what you saying
don't
with
make
that.
sense.
What I'm
And
saying
then
is
what
when
it
you
don't
say
make
that,
sense.
you
Here's the
insinuating
perfect
that
example.
that's what they
Explain
did in
what
the
I
Mike
meant.
shit. Don't bring that up. You ain't gotta include no personal shit
Right
like that.
before then,
That's
I
all I'm
explained
saying.
what
It
I
ain't
meant.
about the numbers. I don't give a fuck about the
Then I
numbers.
explained what I meant.
Huh?
TPJ.
Yeah, but
Here's a
it don't
perfect
matter
example.
after you explain what you meant. After you said it, you still fucking
don't have
said
a point,
it.
but you
So you
think
gotta
you have
fucking
one.
clear it
It's
up. You
okay.
can't just say
It's
shit
okay.
like that.
It's okay.
You can't just say shit like that. You insinuating shit
It's okay.
that didn't fucking
No,
happen.
I'm not insinuating because I literally just said Rick Mahone.
Just because
spoke
you
for Rick
preface
Mahone.
it a certain
How
way
am I
don't mean what you
insinuating
said after
something? I
that.
said everybody
You
spoke
did
for
what?
everybody.
What? How?
If I would have said, you know what? Let me stop.
Huh?
I'm getting
TPJ.
noise complaint in my apartment at 9:30. So
TPJ.
let me relax.
All right,
I'm
man.
getting noise
All
complaint.
right.
TPJ.
You the one screaming. You the one
TPJ.
screaming. You in the upheaval.
TPJ.
You doing the
So let me
same shit
relax.
you accusing
Let
them
me-
of. That's my point. You can't say they insinuating shit by not having certain information in there, and you insinuate shit acting as if they
I'm
did
not.
that
I
when they didn't
literally just
fucking
sat
do
there and
that.
said first,
TPJ.
Rick Mahone spoke for Rick Mahone. Then I said Joe Dumars spoke for Joe Dumars.
And then what did you
when
say
they
after
had
that,
the
bro?
situation with Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas didn't spoke about it. Joe Dumars spoke about it.
So then
That's
how I get?
literally
So
what
then
I
how I
said.
get the dead parent shit? Then how I come up? How I hear dead parent? Then you ain't saying nothing about dead parent.
What I said was when I said Joe Dumas
Alright,
spoke for
man.
Joe Dumas. When
Alright.
Joe Dumas' dad died, they didn't have Isaiah Thomas speaking about it. They had Joe Dumas
And my
spoke about
point
it.
is,
Previously,
when you
that
say
was after
that,
I said Rick Mahomes spoke for Rick Mahomes.
and my point is, when you
I
say
give
that,
you
it sounds
one-
like
okay.
ESPN has somebody
No, it
on the
didn't.
Bulls talking
It didn't
about
sound like
somebody
that.
dying.
It didn't sound like that.
It
You just wanted to
is.
sound like
If
that
you
'cause
making
you
the,
wanna
if you
win. It
if
didn't
I'm
sound like
asking you
that.
to compare the
And
two
if that's how you
documentaries,
took it-
and then comparing the two documentaries, you
check it
put
out.
some that
If
one in
that's
one
how you took-
documentary
and look,
when you
and
in
look,
comparison with the other
and
one. What the
look,
fuck?
And look, check it out. If that's how you took it, that's how you took
Somebody
it.
else can
That's
take
not
it
how
like that. That's
said
why I
though.
said that. It
That's
wasn't
not
me
how I
saying
said
what
that,
you
though.
said was wrong. It's me saying if
not
you're
how
gonna
I
say
said
it, clarify what you're saying. You can't
I
make them.
clarified it by saying everybody spoke for
After
everybody.
you
What
just
could be more
fucking
clear?
yelled about it and went on your soliloquy, but when you fucking said it, it sounded a different way. That was my point.
I literally said Rick Mahomes spoke for Rick Mahomes right before then. If I didn't say that, I
And
would
then
kill
you mentioned two other people
sounds
after
like it was
that.
Rick Mahomes.
Did you not mention two other people after that? What are you talking about? Did you not?
TPJ.
Whatever.
Here's an example.
Whatever.
Pavy, how about
Whatever,
this?
G.
Like, here's an example of what he's talking about, TPJ.
I
So,
know what he's talking
Isaiah-
about, but what he's talking about and what he said is two different things. And what I'm saying is, if you gonna sit up here and be a fucking critic about the semantics and what was said and what was not said, you got to make sure you ain't doing the same shit in context talking about the documentary. Because if somebody ain't seen it, they would hear what you're saying and think something differently happened.
Here's an example.
It wasn't me saying what you were saying was wrong. It's me saying if somebody listen to us that ain't seen the doc yet, hear that shit, they gonna think something else happened in the Jordan doc or Jordan talking about some personal issues with somebody's family when he wasn't in the doc.
No, they not.
All right. That's your opinion on it. My opinion is that I got that differently from what you're saying. So my point is, we wouldn't hear Jordan talking about personal shit that happened with other people other than Dennis Rodman fucking going to Vegas and gambling his life away and getting drunk and having sex with Carmen Electra during the middle of the season. That's the deepest Jordan went into anybody other personal shit. So when you say shit like that, you make it seem like he's sitting up there talking about all their other lives.
I literally just said the Rick Mahomes shit right before then. I was saying everybody spoke for everybody.
All right.
Pavy, is this an example of what you're talking about? So, for example, Adrian Dantley is at the free throw line, shooting free throws, and they have Isaiah Thomas talking about it. Is that an example?
Yes.
So, for example, that was a place for Adrian Dantley, who is a crossing guard in, like, the DMV, for them to interview him and say, "Oh man, yeah," because he wanted the health insurance.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah, he wanted the health insurance. So I don't know if he's still an active one, but there was in the past few years he was working as a crossing guard, so he could get that health insurance, man. Hey, health insurance is real, man. There's real things you do to get help.
That man was averaging 30, and now he got to go out there and be a crossing guard.
Hey, but they had to trade him. They had to trade him to get better. You can't have a 6'5" post player when you got Dennis Rodman.
I enjoy the fact that they had Adrian Dantley talking about Adrian Dantley getting traded. He said, yeah, they traded me because Isaiah wasn't none of his boys. They didn't just have Isaiah Thomas side from about Adrian Dantley getting traded. They had Adrian Dantley talking about Adrian Dantley getting traded.
Right. But
I just want people to speak about things from their own viewpoint as well. I understand Jordan is Jordan, and we all come here to hear Jordan. But I also come here to hear what everybody else says, and I think that those guys have important stories and need to be told as well. For one, even like Paxton's thing, I think that helps explain why Paxton's been in the Bulls organization for so long. I think that Paxton deserves to be able to get some time and explain what he was thinking about in those moments. I think that's important. Especially, I got you. I'm gonna shut about this. Especially when the thing that they was preaching was a team. So I think that it's important that the teammates talk about when they stepped up and not just Jordan talking about when the teammates stepped up.
Then they're gonna have to do a different documentary for you because this is about Michael Jordan, and that's what it's gonna be. I mean, it's really that simple. They have clearly shown that the way they want to do this is they have Michael Jordan, and then they will do other big names that are accessible, like an Isaiah Thomas or a John Sally. They already have Dennis Rodman from both eras, so that's easy. They're just going to go with core key guys, and that's it.
It's not
But
that's
like, I
it.
don't want much
Jed Bushler talks in a documentary. Bill Winnington talks in a
about
documentary.
Mike. About Mike.
Okay,
It
They're
doesn't
all
matter.
talking about Mike.
But why do you
but
think
listen,
that
you know
though?
how much time if you in 10 hours, you know how much time Jud Bushler's gonna have? He probably gonna have about 83
He
seconds.
as he should. As he
But like,
should.
I look, I have no issue with Jud Bushler having 83 seconds. But at least if he did, if Jordan mentioned something that he did, I would like for Jud Bushler to get 5 seconds, at least stating that he did it. That's all I want. I don't want much. It don't take much for Paxton to say, yeah, man, like I was open, so I knocked the shots down. It don't take much for Sky to say, yeah, man, I knew I had to step a guard Magic. That's all I want. That's all. I don't want them to go in depth with it. That's all I want them to say, and that's it.
See, but you got to think about it like this, and I go back to my point earlier. When was the last time Michael Jordan has done something like this?
I get that. I get
Never,
that. I get
never.
that.
So they're going to make him the star because they had him for days and days and days. They had all access to him. He was answering basically any question they wanted, and they have so much Michael Jordan footage, especially interviews nowadays, modern interviews, that they're going to base it all around him. And that's just how it's going to be. That's how the director chose to tell this story. Because you got to think about it like this. Even in the Fab Five, Jalen Rose got way more screen time than everybody else.
Because he was a star.
Right, because he was the star, but he was also helping produce it. So Michael Jordan is kind of in that role too. He's on like a producer level.
I agree, but when Jimmy King did things, Jimmy King spoke for himself.
That's true. I agree with you, but they clearly
I don't have it.
They clearly are not taking that style in this one. They're not.
I don't have an issue with Jordan getting 70%. It's Michael. He should. It's Michael Jordan. I just want the other people who did something. I want to hear their opinion on what they did. That's it.
Maybe it would be different in a director's cut or something like that, but it's just not going to be that way. And it's really hard for anybody to say anything bad about this documentary. You say something bad about it, and they're looking at you like you are, like the Bayhive is talking about you. Like you said something bad about
a very good piece of work. And that's the reason why ESPN 30 for 30s and what Bill Simmons established with that brand when they first built the brand was so amazing about it. It was different from ESPN Classics. It was real in-depth journalism, but also great documentary filmmaking from people that you weren't used to seeing documentary films from. So, I mean, that part of it is kind of like that 60 Minutes thing almost, like, you know what I mean? You can never really attack the credibility of 60 Minutes, if that makes sense, because of kind of the...
Here's a question.
Does that make sense? Because of kind of what it stands on in terms of the reputable work
it does make sense.
So but also I just personally think that it's just been a great filmmaking all around. I mean, personally, but go ahead.
Here's the question. So we're getting this in April. This wasn't supposed to come out until June. I know that they're just still finishing up final episodes. So do you feel like it would have been different 2 or 3 months from now if they would have had the normal amount of time to work on it?
As a filmmaker, when you write you write a documentary script, it's a full script, and basically they go through every single line. They write down every single line, and they construct it as if it's a real script. So they've had the script in place for however long they've had it in now. Clearances and, getting the proper footage you need and servers and all the other crap is probably issues. But I think as far as the documentary itself has been done pretty much in terms of the writing of it. It's been done. It's just about putting it all together and getting it all done. And I think they just had a longer window, before to refine it. And I think now they just have to make a lot more immediate decisions rather than, being able to go back and kind of give everything a few more once-overs.
I think another thing about it is since this is a Chicago Bulls, but primarily a Michael Jordan documentary, they essentially have access to anybody they can want. So when you have like Barack Obama randomly in here, just because you can get Barack Obama in there, you almost have too many elements. You got too many elements. Like you're never gonna have and then you had 2 presidents. Okay, they had Bill Clinton because Scotty was from Arkansas.
Scotty was from Arkansas.
I feel that. but
Salt and pine
having both of them in there, it's like they could literally get anybody they want in this documentary. So maybe they almost had too many choices and too many elements, and it was just too hard to dwindle down what you have. Because I know sometimes, and you might feel like that's this too, Thomas. Sometimes when you're editing, it's hard to cut down all the good things you got, and you got so many people, you just want to fit everybody in. You're like, oh, I got to get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Then you turn up.
Yeah, but it's like a good television show. At some point, it has to end. I think they know that.
You got these longer commercial breaks and everything like that. So it's limited time. Like, this is not commercial free.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
all these episodes are 42 to fit in. I think 42 to like 52-minute blocks. So that means 8 to 18 minutes worth of commercials. So really, it's not really 10 full hours. It's really like, closer to more like 7.5, 8-ish.
Right. So this is really only 7 episodes being stretched to 10.
Well, I mean 7 if you just talk an hour, like straight hour.
Yeah, hours. Yeah. If we're talking just going straight to Netflix or something.
It is
like
going straight
that,
to Netflix. It's actually on Apple TV as well. Already.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm saying is, if it was on there, it's easy to go an hour. Each episode and go in depth. And then maybe you get a little bit more of what Pavy is looking for. But I don't think the casual fan cared about what John Paxson said. They don't even know who John Paxson is.
They do. So, you want to know how they know who they do? Because Michael Jordan said, I passed John Paxson the ball. That's why he got hired by the Bulls.
Yeah, now
Michael
they know
Jordan
who he is.
said, I passed that man the ball, like and he made a big shot when Michael Jordan needed him to. That's why he got a job with the Bulls.
Right, but it's like those tweets that say, I was today years old when I found out John Paxson made a game-winning shot. Like, there's so many people out here who's like, I've heard that name before. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is introductory to so many people. And it's hard to balance making something expert for Pavy and then making something introductory and enough that is engaging for, let's just say, Joe Blow. Like, it's a hard balance with that.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job,
though. There's literally nothing else. I won't say there's nothing else on right now, but like on Sunday nights,
there's nothing else on TV.
There's nothing else on. I mean, Westworld is on. Westworld is cracking right now. If you watch Westworld, you know what it is. It's cracking. Shout out to my girl Dolores.
Okay. Shout out Dolores. Westworld.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying it's a bad documentary. It's just that again.
Can I say this? I feel like it's hard to watch it, and they didn't really do it too much in 3 and 4. But the first 2 episodes, I personally didn't really care for the Jerry Krause is the villain.
Oh.
Like,
that's another thing. That's another thing.
I thought that was a lot. Like, first of all, the man is dead. He can't really speak for himself with a modern day interview. And then I feel like that's stereotypical to say we have to have a villain.
I agree with that.
Like,
I don't think it is. I just think they fucking hated him. He made a character in Space, like the villain in Space Jam is modeled after this man. He fucking hated this man. If you didn't know from this documentary series that Michael Jordan fucking hated Jerry Krause, then they didn't do a good job at being documentarians.
Yeah, but you know what, though?
I don't think they unfairly represented him. I think Jerry Reinsdorf took up for Jerry Krause numerous times, including saying, I gave him the ability to make the decisions. He commented on how he said he wanted to be the GM after he was the GM of the White Sox, and how he gave him an opportunity and he thought he did a great job. I don't feel as though Jerry Krause is being looked at unfairly. I just think that we're looking at it from the perspective of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson, and they hated the man. They did not like him at all. They didn't enjoy him. He was Phil's protege, basically, the guy that Phil. I'm sorry. Phil was Krause's like protege, the guy that he brought up to come in and take over for Doug Collins, and then basically Michael started to favor and Scottie favored Phil over him, and Krause resented that, and Krause resented their success and the fact that he wasn't the name behind the success. I don't think that they villainized him. I just think that it's very clear that they don't like him,
It's not exactly the picture that I got.
They definitely villainized him, and I bet by
How
the
is he
end,
villainized?
they're going.
It's his own words. Like they have people talking about him, and then literally they cut to Jerry Krause doing the exact thing that person said that he did in the media. When Scotty talked about him going in and saying the thing about him wanting to trade him or his value not being that good, they
because
cut
he's not
to
here
Jerry
to speak
Krause's
for
voice
himself.
talking
So it's like
about
you
that.
can cut because he's not here for him. Like he's not here to speak for himself. So you can cut out whatever you want to say about Jerry Krause and put it with and make it match whatever.
It's a documentary. It's like this is
He
not.
can't
You're not
add-
sitting and having a
he
live
can't add more
conversation with these
perspective
people. You're getting an encapsulated piece of time. He's dead, yeah. So we're gonna use exactly what he said. It's not as if he didn't say it. He said it. It's all on record. It's all in quotes. It's in papers. It's on tape recordings. It's on video recordings. It's on CBS, ABC, ESPN.
Look,
I mean, it's not as if they're like fabricating this stuff. It happened. He said it.
That's true. That's fine. I just want to say this. I bet by the end that they will be saying like, "Oh yeah, as much as we didn't care for Jerry Krause, by the end, we got to give him his props because without him, there is no Bulls three-peat both times."
No, honestly, Michael Jordan, they give him props in his Hall of Fame speech. He literally said, he said organization win championships. He literally said in his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, but I think right before that he did. Yes. But I think right before them he did give him credit, and then he went into the fact like you said, organization win, but don't forget about the players. I think he did give him credit for like drafting talent and picking talent.
He gave him credit in the documentary.
But again,
I bet he's gonna get some more credit.
But again,
that's all I'm saying. He's gonna get some more credit.
I also understand Krause's deposition with everything about just like wanting credit. Again, when something becomes that successful and something becomes that big, everybody has an ego. Everybody involved with it has an ego. And he just felt like, nobody is giving me enough credit for putting this whole thing together. Like, yes, Michael, you're great. I like the Scottie Pippen. We had to trade for Scottie Pippen. Horace Grant was like the 13th pick in the draft. Rodman, people didn't even want to. I got Rodman for Will Purdue. I had to sign.
Why you say Will Purdue name like that? Then you want to hear from him in a documentary. You want to hear his perspective.
No, but what did Will
Purdue think about getting traded for Dennis Rodman? That's what I wanted to hear.
That's what we don't need.
Really? Why not? Why?
I mean, whatever, but like we don't. I'm not too keen on Will Purdue.
Good point, TP. You almost got it.
I'm just saying.
I mean, sure, if you want to put it in there, but I'm not too keen on Will Purdue's like. But how did you feel about getting traded? Doesn't really.
I did think they did a good job of using B.J. Armstrong. I thought B.J. Armstrong was a nice addition.
Yeah, he was.
Very well-respected guy, amongst NBA players.
He added some additional perspective. And so if they can do that in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, add in new characters and new voices, I think they will be building to an ultimate finale. Like, I think that's important. I feel like they're still building. Like this, it's still introductory. Like they just got to the first championship.
Yeah, I mean, I've
like 40%
I've peeked ahead. But honestly, I'm interested in really because now I'm fired up to go back and like rewatch it again. Kind of watched it in passing a little bit because I had seen it up to like 8. But the one thing that I did find that was interesting that they aren't really that different from the league. So we pretty much see what you see is what you get. If you've seen any of it before, you just get to see it in glorious 4K, which is good. I'm still watching, still DVR and got to record it. But I think going forward, like I'm gonna hone in a little bit more and kind of see exactly, kind of what's going on, because I was watching it, but it was like a little bit sleepy sometimes. It was like trying to binge it, but I think it's a good series though. I think episodes 5 and 6, it'll be interesting. I think the whole Mike, that's like the whole Mike and Kobe episode. I think they got a solid piece in the episode. I think that'll be interesting to see again and break down and really get to see a lot of that old footage. It's very funny seeing old NBA players talk about Kobe, because they all been saying the same thing about him since like day one. They was all like, yeah, he gonna shoot. Mike was like, why y'all passing the ball then?
Wait, Kobe's gonna be in it?
Yeah,
Kobe's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be in the
yeah,
doc?
yeah. Kobe's gonna be in the next episode.
Okay.
Like ESPN showed a screenshot, and I think it's of the year.
Okay.
They cover
All-Star game.
you know Kobe's first All-Star game with Jordan and kind of that little mini passing of the guard that happened during that All-Star game as well. And kind of just how Mike thought about and what Mike thought about Kobe. So I think that'll be cool. But I think that all of that stuff is before Kobe passed. Obviously, everything that you heard from Mike. I like seeing Mike cry in the documentary.
Okay.
It's hilarious. It's like you can just see like the years of like cognac starting to build up in his eyes as he started to get a little teary eyed.
Episodes.
Why does everybody
5.
go in on Michael Jordan for being emotional? Why can't he be emotional?
I
like
want
a
him to
regular
be
person?
emotional. I just said I love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful television.
You said it's funny, but why is it funny?
Huh? Because he's
You said
such an
it's funny.
asshole. He spent the whole documentary being an asshole. So it's like, when he crying, it's like, yo, this motherfucker is crazy. Like he really wanted to win that. Like he still in his heart feels the same way about wanting to win back then as he felt back then. You know what I mean? I mean, he feels it now.
You know, so,
Yeah.
sometimes people just project. I mean, that's just a projection.
I don't think he
When
projected.
you
I just think Mike had him a cigar. He had what looked like his new añejo. It looked like he started the interview with a full glass and he ended it with an empty glass. And he might have refilled a couple times. So it's a couple times in this documentary, literally, where Mike just be talking and he just be like, and he just stop for a second and his little puffy eyes just get like filled with tears and I just be dying laughing because he just been this kind of infallible person. You know what I mean? You can't really hurt Michael Jordan, stop Michael Jordan. So anytime you get a chance to see Michael Jordan cry, it's funny. I mean, it's like seeing The Rock cry. Like if you saw The Rock cry, like, I mean, obviously if it was for nothing like tragic reasons, but if he just like getting choked up talking about like, you know, rock bottom and Stone Cold at WrestleMania, and he just like, you gonna be like, that's funny as hell because you don't really see The Rock cry. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I look at like Jordan. Like at this point, Mike is one of them mythical characters. Oh, I mean, at least for me, you know what I mean?
I have a question.
What?
I have a question for both
What
of
up?
you. Do you feel like this documentary is 10 years too late?
No.
Nah, I think it's right on time.
No.
You think it's right on time?
I think it's right on time because I mean, even for instance, like my young homie, my guy Brandon, shout out Brandon. He been texting like, bro, Michael Jordan was so cold. He's like 24. I'm like, you didn't know this? It's like, yo, Mike's the GOAT, bro. Mike's the GOAT, bro. So it's like, because you get to a point where, like I said, we had this like argument the other day. Like you get to a whole generation that what they know about Michael Jordan is his shoes. Like that's what they know Jordan for most is his shoes. They don't really know Michael Jordan, a basketball player. Like if you 23, 24 years old, you 23, you might have been born in 98, 99, or like 97. You don't really know about Michael Jordan. So I feel like it's right on time for them. Like stuff has been so long ago where like even those who watched it might have forgotten. Like that's how long it's been. It's been 22 years since he last played. So even those that saw it while it was happening might have forgot. And even people like me, like yeah, we were growing up in it, but like we didn't see it in real time. So even though we know, we still didn't see it in real time.
It's been 22 years since he last played. No, it's been 22 years since that happened.
Oh yeah, but I mean, yes. It's been 22 years since he last played in a Bulls jersey.
Right.
So a lot of this stuff is like people don't.
But you don't really have to worry about that.
it's like it's been 22 years since he played in the Bulls jersey. So it's like a lot of people alive who are like watching this. I mean, you can even see NBA players like the way Trae Young is tweeting, the way Donovan Mitchell was tweeting, the way Miles Bridges, who plays for Jordan's team, was like, yo, I can't believe that, like the guy just passed the ball to dude on Georgetown. You play on Jordan's team. You ain't never seen that footage before. What the hell? But it's like you can even see players in like the league are like, wow, Michael Jordan, like, wow. It's like, bro, y'all in the NBA, but I personally think it's right on time. And nobody's doing nothing right now, too.
True.
You can really hone in and watch it. So that's my opinion.
True.
Yeah.
I was thinking from a video perspective, though. I feel like for me, some parts are a little hard to watch because it's just. I mean,
I actually love the quality though.
We have progressed so much more past that technology-wise that like.
Yes.
I feel like I'm watching NBA hardwood classics.
Yeah, but
I
that's
mean,
why I
you
like it
are.
though. I mean, yeah, but like I like it though. Like, and also I feel like film. I know, shout out Joey tweeted, but film just has a different quality than digital, which I kind of like. Like it's kind of grainy, but like it's dope to me though. You know. So I personally love the film quality. I think that that's what makes it so dope. The fact that it looks retro. But that's just me.
Yeah, my
I
camera
do
just died.
enjoy.
But go ahead.
Well, I enjoy the soundtrack though.
Oh yeah, that not now. Now what I do want to say is I think whoever did the music was perfect. Whoever put the music together on the documentary did an excellent job. Like the music absolutely matches every single thing that happened. Like when they had the LL Cool J "I'm Bad," come on, you know when Mike was given the Celtics 63, when they had the "I Don't Want to Be a Player," come on for Rodman. I think the music selection was incredible in this documentary.
Yep. So let's go ahead.
Again,
Let's
we're real
move
quick.
on.
I like everything about the documentary except like the storytelling. Everything else, I love it. The pictures,
Then
I
you
love
don't like
it.
the documentary.
The background stuff,
See,
I
then you
love
don't
it.
like
like the fucking
everything but the
documentary.
I
story.
don't.
I like everything about the movie
don't
except
like
the whole movie. The script was
No,
garbage.
don't
You didn't like the
No,
movie, but
no, I don't
You
want to
don't
say I
like
don't
it.
like it. No, because the footage, the like behind the scenes for the stuff that we never would have seen is dope to me. But I'm just looking at stuff like,
But the documentary and the storytelling are synonymous. You don't like it. It's okay.
there's nothing wrong with
gosh,
that.
You don't have to like it. It's
You don't
not
have to
for
like it.
you.
You
You
don't have
are
to. You don't
you
have
are
to
a different
participate in the Last
level
Dance.
of well, you just have a different appreciation for basketball. You look at it from a different eye, and you are like your own basketball historian. You do a lot of your own research. You randomly watching old stuff, so it's not for you. This is for
that's fair.
casual to intermediary,
That's fair.
or somebody who's just loving nostalgia.
Yep.
And
That's fair.
And if you're watching
and
this and I'm sorry, his camera keeps popping in there. I have no idea why. It's just like Skype is like bugging out, so it keeps like having your camera be like little and then big and then little and then big and little big. So I don't know why, but it's fine.
no need. Okay.
But let's go ahead. Talk to me, both of you guys. WNBA free agency offseason. Pavy, you were on one of the conference calls earlier this week. I'm sure you were probably on there as well, John, for the LA Sparks. Obviously, the WNBA season is potentially up in arms in terms of potentially being able to happen. It may or may not happen depending upon how kind of long this coronavirus thing pushes. We might actually get a postponed NBA as well as a postponed WNBA season kind of on a more permanent basis until next year. But as of right now, we have the WNBA draft happened recently. Obviously, John, Pavy, both of you guys covered it. Both of you guys really, really love the WNBA. Have spent a lot of time, many hours, dozens and hundreds of hours covering and talking to these players. So go ahead and talk to me specifically about what you guys are interested in seeing from this WNBA season. What are your thoughts on free agency, on the draft? Is Ionescu, I believe that's how you say her name, is she the real deal? Will she help turn Liberty around? Talk to me. Let's do some WNBA talk.
John?
First of all, I do think Sabrina Ionescu is the real deal.
Okay.
I think it's perfect for her to be in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Like they couldn't have picked a better market for her, a better team, like a team that as soon as she goes there, they say like, this is her team.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally had Tina Charles, a former MVP of the league, and they were like, doop, dropped her off to the Washington Mystics. Got rid of her because they wanted to say like, this is Sabrina Ionescu's team.
Mm-hmm.
We are rebuilding. We have room to bring in someone else who may complement the way that we've seen her be successful in Oregon. So I think her going to New York is perfect. Second of all, I think all of the changes, and when I say changes, I mean player movement in the league has been perfect too, because that's what we're used to in every other major sport now. In the NBA, players force trades and leave all the time. Free agency, people leave all the time. They don't really do it as much in the NFL free agency wise because careers are shorter. But if you just talk basketball to basketball, that's what it's about, player movement. And I love that. But I think, and then they had the different changes in the CBA. The players are getting paid more now, and they definitely will get paid more in the future when people are able to sign updated contracts. But I feel like right now it's like a lull, and it's a lull everywhere. And I just don't want the positive momentum they had to not come to fruition this year, because, it's supposed to get better and better every year. But I don't think that can happen if they don't play.
Pavy?
As far as Sabrina goes, I got high expectations. I think that, I expect the Liberty to be in the playoffs. I expect them to make some noise in the playoffs. I think Sabrina could come in and be a top 15 player in the league. Why can't she? Oregon, they had obviously the number one and like the number 2 pick on the team when they played the women's team, but they beat the women's team. They beat the USA women's team. The college team beat the women's team. Sabrina was on that team. She was pulling up from half court by the end of the game. So I got expectations. I expect her to come in and be a top 10, top 15 player in the league. Why can't she? It's not like the Liberty are absent of talent. They have Kia Nurse. She was an all-star last year. They have Asia Durst. She was a number 2 pick in the draft last year, if I'm not mistaken. Number 2 or number 1? Number 2 pick in the draft last year. So, behind Jackie. So it's not like they don't have any talent on the roster, and you add a top 15 player, you should be a playoff team. As far as the league, I'm with you. I think that it's been possibly, I want to say, the most exciting offseason in, I want to say league history. I think you have like actual, super teams now, teams that can gauge into outside of the normal WNBA community. I think even Christy Tolliver going back to LA. So now you got Christy, NECA, Shanae, Candace on one team. I think that people who don't necessarily
Simone Augustus too.
Simone too, all on one team. People who don't necessarily aren't WNBA fans, they know some of those names and maybe more keen to tune in. You got in Phoenix, you got Skylar Diggins, Diana, and Brittany Griner. Those are huge names. Like, if they're playing, I might tune in and watch it, even if I'm not the biggest WNBA fans, just because I know these names. And I think it's very, very important that they play this season. I really hope they can find some way to play. Because again, I was looking, even when you look at the coverage that happened last year and just even, seeing more clips on the internet and just, even the little fallout that happened when Candace got benched, it was great. It was great for the league. Mm-hmm. It's amazing for the league. The fact that it was like that story was on the jump. It sucked for Fish, but for the league, but for the league, that's amazing. There's controversy. People are mad. People have opinions. That's what you want. So I think it's very, very important that they find a way to play this year somehow. Even if they got to, take it to Vegas and just, put everybody in Vegas for a couple of months. I don't know, do something like that. The Olympics aren't happening now, so you don't have to worry about, shutting the season down midway through. So, maybe you got a start in July. You go from July to something like that. But I think it's very important that they find a way somehow to play this season, because I think that this season could be quite possibly the most important one in WNBA history. But
that's what I was going to say. It's a very important point that they already had a built-in month-long break for the Olympics. They were going to stop in the beginning of July or middle of July and not come back to about the middle of August. So they already had a month where they were taking a break. So they were supposed to be starting training camp about now, and the season was supposed to start in the middle of May. You're right. If it starts in July, you cut a couple games, it'll end around the same time. But the issue now is a lot of the teams like LA, but you did mention, playing at one site. But if you don't play at one site, one of the issues is teams like LA, Minnesota, and the Mercury, and there's a couple other teams, but they share arenas with NBA teams. So the priority on that is a little up in the air, but it creates synergy, because this is one thing that I would love to see happen. And the commissioner kind of talked about that a little bit, Kathy Engelbert. I would love to see a doubleheader. Like, how some colleges will have the women's team play before the men's team. Like, literally play same arena. You got to change the court real quick, but they're experts at changing courts. Pull up the court, put down the court, play the same day, same place.
Here's my thing. I don't think we had too much worry about that, because I don't think there's going to be fans at these games regardless. I don't think you're going to see fans in sports arenas, at least for maybe, I want to say, 6 to 7 months. I don't think it's just safe to do that right now. So I think regardless, the games are going to be played probably without fans anyway. But I actually they just need to find a way to play. Especially, with the fact that so much going on in the world, people want to turn their attention away from things. Maybe some other leagues might not be playing. Sports is really going to have an eye on it. I think they just need to find a way to play. Excuse me. Don't matter where it's at, no matter who they do it with, they just need to find a way to play somehow, in my opinion. Especially with like a star like Sabrina coming into the league, and I don't. She has, as far as like women's athletes, would you say she's one of the 20 most famous women's athletes right now?
I'd say top 5.
I was saying top. I was thinking top 5. If she's a top 5 most famous women,
there's Serena. Who else? I'm going Serena Williams first. Who else?
Candace Parker. I think, is a famous women's athlete.
I feel like Sabrina might be more famous than Candace Parker right now.
Nah, I'm not gonna go that far, bro.
That Nike stuff goes like that.
I'm not gonna. You know what? You may be right, because Sabrina might have a post of the kids. I don't know. She might have a post of the kids, something that like I don't know about. But I'm just saying Candace, as far as like I think everybody, like if I call my dad like, yo, who's Candace Parker? He's gonna know. If I say, yo, who is Sabrina? He like I haven't heard that name.
Yes, Candace Parker still has more name recognition.
But like outside of, I mean, Serena Williams, Candace Parker, Thomas, can you think of any other female athletes, just like off the top of your head, that might be more famous?
Maybe Megan Rapinoe.
Ooh.
Maria Sharapova.
Maybe not there.
I was thinking Maria Sharapova, but did she?
I said
did she
Megan
quit
Rapinoe
though?
from soccer.
But like didn't?
Yeah, she stopped. Maria Sharapova retired.
Oh, Venus, obviously Venus Williams,
True.
Serena Venus. But regardless, she's 5'10", she's like up there. So when you have a star like her coming into the league, especially playing in a market like New York, I think you like this is a godsend for the league. If you can get the Liberty good, like in New York in this market, and you have, possibly the best player in the league. And I mean, honestly, they could make a finals run. It would be crazy, but it could happen. If she's as good as advertised, why can't
they're
it
not gonna make the finals. But I will say this.
I'm not saying they're gonna make I say they run, not necessarily make it, but like they can go to the second round. Why not? She's good as advertised. Why not?
Second round, yeah. If you win that one game,
yeah, they get the second round and
like
take somebody to 5. Why not? If she's supposed to be this good, why not?
Because she didn't win on her own.
I mean, she ain't gonna be the. I mean, she got an all-star with her. Kia can hoop. Kia not bad.
Not bad, but yeah.
Why
but
can't she?
Okay, so this is what I'll say though, and this is to TPJ, and I feel like out of any league that's supposed to be playing now, the WNBA is best built to play while all of this is going on. I say that because think about it like this. What happened to me in college basketball? There's a WNBA has 12 teams. They all play on one site. Honestly, they all play in one arena, and then that's it. The NBA has so many teams that unless you just went to playoffs, it would be hard to play on one site.
I mean, for one, it would lessen travel. I mean, like it would, like you put everybody up in Vegas or somewhere, like wherever you want to do
conference tournament style, or just think about it as an NCAA region. That's it. I mean, that's the WNBA. So if they can play, like that's the easiest sport or easiest league to get back playing, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so July, yeah. And especially like you said, like you guys said, if they pick a site that's not an NBA site, it's a no-brainer. They can easily play.
Play where the Aces play. What is it? The MGM Grand?
Yeah.
You got housing. Because the hotel, you play right in the hotel. You ain't got to leave the premises.
That's true.
If Vegas is even back open yet, but it won't be too long before Vegas is back open. They ain't gonna lose out on that much money that much longer.
Yeah, the mayor of Vegas is working really hard to get the Las Vegas opened. A lot of places are working really hard to get themselves reopened. I'm gonna pray for all y'all as y'all venture back into the world after the first wave of the Rona.
I think the NBA can also take a summer league model because they used to play summer league in Orlando, Utah, and Vegas. It used to be like the Orlando and Utah was
They still do.
first. Nah, they don't play Orlando anymore.
Yes, they do. I'm pretty sure they still play Orlando.
I think they
I
dropped
don't think
that.
they do. They
They
think they
dropped
just do
that one
Utah
out.
and Vegas now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that worked, and that was something that was media only. Orlando one always ran like that, and they had about 8 to 10 teams, and that's what it was. So if they want to play basketball without fans, they can play basketball without fans. But the thing is you have to have excellent testing, and you have to have excellent protocols on essentially keeping them under quarantine, like at all times, like for the rest of the season. That's gonna be a lot. That's a tall ask.
Yeah, which is why sports aren't coming back until 2022 in a full form. I don't think we'll see it. I think we'll see the NBA try to do it a little bit, and unless they're going to be truly innovative, which I don't think that they will be, because I don't think that. I just don't think they will be. I just think that we'll have to wait this thing out. I think football is the only sport that might come back, and that's just because you can take everybody on football and put all of them outside.
You know what they could do?
What?
Did y'all have y'all ever seen? It's like an early season classic they've done in San Diego. This is crazy. I just thought of this.
Oh, you're talking about they put them on a military ship?
They played on a ship.
On that ship.
Michigan
On that military
State
ship
versus North Carolina or something like that.
Yeah.
They put a
Trying to
quarter
put
on
NBA
a
players
ship.
on the ship.
Last ship, baby.
LeBron
That was one
gonna
of
be
my
LeBron gonna be on the last ship. That's gonna be the name of this episode, by the way. LeBron gonna be on
No,
the last. You gonna have
literally,
LeBron on the last ship trying to hoop.
Yo, literally,
Savannah and Lil Bronny downstairs in the cubbies is not happening, John.
See, there's literally a ship out there right now that was set sail around the world like 6 months ago, and nobody on there has coronavirus because they've been that isolated.
Crazy.
So, I mean, if they really wanted to, I don't think they want to play on the ship, but why not?
Bron gonna get seasick in the middle of the game. Oh shit!
You just anchor it. You just anchor it. You don't actually like take the ship out to sea and play in the water.
We might as well be in a hotel then, John. What you want? I might as well go get a hotel room there. Shit, this little ass bunker. Bron's 6'8". You think he gonna be able to fit in one of them little bitty beds?
Where did Team USA stay one time at the Olympics? They stayed on a ship.
That was in like what year?
Yo, real quick.
Like 2008.
Real quick breaking news. Woj alert. Sixers assistant GM Mark Eversley has agreed to a deal to become a Chicago Bulls new general manager. League sources tell ESPN.
Great, dope. Bulls have a new GM. About time. Celebrate.
So he's the 76ers assistant GM?
Yeah.
So he's learning from Elton Brand?
He's learning from Elton Brand.
Yeah, I'm not rocking with that.
What's that gonna do?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's
gonna go out and sign another center.
There's no. I don't think there's anything wrong with Elton Brand as a GM.
We thought we had a window with Laurie. We had to go out and get another center, and we gonna give Felicio an extension. We really think he can provide some valuable results for us in the future.
But I think the Bulls, whoever they just signed as GM, they're really an assistant GM. Like, they're not really going to be making the decisions. Whoever that executive they brought in, like, that's who's in charge.
Yeah, good.
Just like my man in Toronto, Masai.
Yeah.
Like, he's in charge. There's certain places where, like, that person is in charge and the GM is the salary cap person, or they do a lot more
like
scouting.
Pavy. He playing 2K, coming up with trade scenarios, writing them down like, hey,
I mean,
hey,
the Bulls got it.
Altman. I know what we can trade Kevin Kyrie to. And he's like, where'd you get this idea from? Like, I just came up with it. I was asleep. Like, nah, that motherfucker's playing 2K like Pavy.
I mean, the Bulls got an easy fix, but not that hard. They're going to start this year. They're going to probably get like a top 5 pick. They got cap room.
Stop. You said the Bulls have an easy fix?
Yeah. They not that bad right now. They like 2 spots out. They would be the 9th seed if they won like 3 more games. They could easily win 10 more games next year. And they was hurt this year. I don't think they actually had their full starting lineup for 20 games.
Bulls are
Now I'm not
I
saying
thought the Bulls were gonna make the
now
playoffs
look,
this year, so I'm not gonna be.
Now look.
I'm not. I think that they do have an easy fix. They also were not healthy this
Now look.
year.
Now look, I'm not saying they're gonna win a championship next year, but I'm talking about we talking about getting back in the playoffs in the East. This ain't no complicated task.
To be good or to be a championship team, you essentially need 2 or 3 Hall of Famers. They have no one on their team right now.
We talking
that
about
is
getting back
on
to the
Hall of
play.
Fame track.
We talking about
You said easy fix.
Where they getting these Hall of Famers from?
Can they get to the playoffs first?
I don't know.
When I say easy fix, I mean get back to being a competitive basketball team. If you are playing playoff basketball, you are a competitive basketball team.
They
I
could
will
be
pay my money to
competitive
go
right
watch.
now if they tried.
No, if they were healthy, yeah.
If Jim
they
Boylan
were
wasn't
healthy.
the coach.
If they were healthy, they
Boylan
haven't
wasn't
been
the
healthy.
coach.
You don't even know if Boylan can coach because the team ain't been
He's
healthy.
not good.
You don't know that because they ain't been
I'm
healthy.
gonna start screaming like you in a second. He's not fucking good. He's not fucking good.
You don't know.
He fucking sucks.
You don't know that because they ain't been healthy.
He fucking sucks.
You don't know that because they ain't been healthy. They haven't been healthy.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
How many Bulls?
Jim Boylan fucking
How
sucks.
many Bulls? How many players on the Bulls right now would you have in 5 years? Like 5 years from now?
Chris Dunn.
What?
No.
Chris Dunn. No, stop that. Chris Dunn is one of the best defensive guards in the NBA right now, and he actually leads the league in steals percentage. Chris Dunn. I will take Chris Dunn in 5 years. Wendell, if he could stay on the damn court, I would take Wendell. I don't think Lowry is a superstar, but I think Lowry can be around the league for 10, 12 years. I like Zach LaVine. I even like Otto Porter. Chandler Hutchinson is nice to me. They got guys on the team I like. They got a lot of guys I have in 5 years.
Otto Porter is not staying there because that man is going to be salty that he's not making $20-some million a year because no one is ever going to pay him that again. So he's not staying.
No,
he's not.
But you said, okay, so we got Chris Dunn, so we got Larry Marketing, we got Wendell, Kobe White, we got Zach LaVine, Chandler Hutchinson. They got some guys I like. They not a not a team inept of talent.
Cool. I feel
they got
like
better pieces than the Pistons. You lie. You telling a lie. You telling a lie. You telling a lie. Name them. Name me the pieces on the Pistons.
At least the Pistons have shooters.
Who? What?
Luke Kennard.
Keep going.
Mikhailuk.
Exactly.
Oh, my man, Sekou.
Sekou can hoop.
Sekou can hoop.
You like them better than Kobe?
Huh?
Yeah.
You like him better than Kobe?
He big as hell. He like 6'9", ain't he?
Who, Svi?
No, not Svi. You talking about Sekou, right? Sekou decent. He was hooping this year.
I like Sekou better than everybody but Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen on the Bulls.
I do too. Sekou decent. He was hooping this year.
You like him better than Kobe White?
Sekou?
Yeah, Sekou? Yes.
Yeah, he cold. He was hooping this year.
That's now turning 19.
Go back and rewatch some of his highlights. He was hooping this year.
Sekou was low-key D'ing up LeBron for a little bit.
And Kobe was getting everybody buckets.
Yeah, but Sekou had a really good year too. I'm not upset at it.
I like Chris Dunn more than him.
Nah.
You like Chris Dunn better than who?
Sekou a rookie, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the rookie. Chris Dunn got like 4 years in the league. He ain't done nothing.
No, he doesn't.
Chris
Dunn like 3 years old. He's still
he ain't
young.
done nothing.
Oh, and I like Christian Wood better than all your players other than Larry Markkanen and Zach LaVine.
I like Christian
Wood. Christian Wood, I'll give you. Sudeku, no.
Right there, those three.
I'm not really that high on Christian Wood.
Luke Kennard.
More than Zach LaVine. Like Luke Kennard more than Kobe White. I don't.
Those guys shoot. You need to
Kobe
shoot.
Can shoot.
Oh, okay, Chris
shoot.
Dunn and Wendell Carter.
Okay, but Wendell's a lob threat. He plays defense. He can strap up anybody.
Lob threat. You know how many people are lob threats? Kenneth Faried is a lob threat.
And Kenneth Faried had a very good.
Kenneth Faried.
No, come on, G. No. Clint Capella a lob threat.
Right, and he's not gonna get paid a lot of money for it after this contract.
I mean, yeah, because they commit to Russell Wilson. Christian Thompson, damn good basketball player.
Nobody's gonna pay Clint Capella. That's the thing.
Somebody will pay
Nobody's
Clint
gonna,
Capella.
no,
Somebody will
no,
pay Clint
not
Capella.
not as much as you get now.
See, here's the thing. I actually think Trae Young can make him look amazing, and he might rob his way to some more money. I think Trae Young can make him look amazing.
That's John Collins. That's
Both
John
of them.
Collins check.
Both of
Clint
them.
Capella's not about to get John Collins check.
I
When
mean,
it's
nah,
time to
he
pay
ain't.
him, that's what they paying.
Yeah, but Clint Capella can get $70 million.
Over how many years?
4?
20?
Come on.
They're about to give him
4?
they're gonna give him a Scottie Pippen contract. Hey, 7 years for $20 million.
I don't know if big men gonna get paid like that no more ever again.
They're
To be
not gonna
honest,
pay him. They're not gonna pay Clint Capella.
I think it's only gonna be
Unless
a few
Clint
big
Capella
guys with
can
maxes.
shoot three. Unless Clint
Huh?
Capella
I
can
say I
shoot
don't
three.
really think big men are gonna ever get paid like that anymore.
I mean, I don't think
it's
he
gonna be
getting a
few with
max.
maxes.
I don't think he getting a max. I think he can get
Pat.
70 of them.
This man John
Pat.
W. Window keep popping all over the screen. It's like a pop-up blocker thing. It's just like doo, 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 doo. Sorry.
The big man in the NBA is equivalent to the running back in the NFL.
Yes.
I don't know
At this point, yes.
They don't care about him, and they're not going to pay him.
Yeah.
And they're
In the
expensive.
90s, in the 80s, 70s, and 90s, the running back was the man. Not
Now they
Yes.
pass. That's a 3-point shot. That's the same thing. Pass. 3-point shot, 3-point shot, 3-point shot.
Yes, but rebounding and interior defense is still important, especially when you get to the playoffs. And if you have a big who can like switch out and actually stay in front of a guard, you become much more valuable.
Yes,
like Clint Capella
yes,
can do.
But the biggest big they want now is Bam Adebayo. That's as big as they need now. They don't need anything else.
We got to see Bam have some success in the playoffs, though.
But I'm saying that's the
He
prototype they're
won't.
looking for.
He won't.
I mean, yeah, but we got to see Bam have some success in the playoffs, though.
Yeah.
Like my man Andre Drummond. They were like, breaking news. Andre Drummond is expected to pick up his player option. Duh. Because ain't nobody about to pay that man $30 million again. Ever.
He's getting a max
For
from
his
Cleveland.
whole
He's getting a max from Cleveland.
a max extension?
He's getting a max from Cleveland. Watch, he's getting a max from Cleveland. He's getting a match from Cleveland, and if you can have Andre Drummond and Kevin Love, you can possibly put yourself in the playoff contention because you had the best, because you possibly had the best front line in basketball.
No, he's not. But I feel
He's getting a max from Cleveland.
not from Cleveland.
No, because by the time they max Andre Drummond out, Kevin Love will be how old? I mean, that'd be a whole
A year
nother year
older.
on Kevin Love. Yes,
A
how
year
old is
older.
Kevin Love now? 31?
30, 31. He on the books for 4 more years. You not trading him. You better do something.
Kevin
You better
Love,
try to win.
Kevin Love don't even want to be in Cleveland now.
It don't matter what he want. We can't
It don't
trade
matter
that
what he want to
contract.
be. Where he going? Where he going? Who taking the
Especially
money?
in
So
this
you stuck
market,
with it?
who taking
He's
Nowhere.
in a recession.
Who take
Nowhere.
Recession.
He was gonna collect his
first
check.
Daryl Morey with the China shit, and now coronavirus. G, Adam Silver over there tapping his pockets like a motherfucker. Like big fella. G, no. Drummond, he might get one from
Kevin
Cleveland,
Love
though.
is
but
not going anywhere,
but Kevin Love ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but he's not. But what's encouraging him to play better than he's playing?
Who, Kevin Love?
Yeah,
He
that's what I'm
hates
saying. You
losing.
said they
And
could have
he
it.
fucking
You got
hates Colin
pride?
Sexton, hate John
You a
Beeline.
fucking professional?
He hates Darius Garland. He hates all of them because they all losers.
Cause you a
Right. So
professional
why
and
is he
you
gonna
wanna
play for those guys?
Cause you a professional.
Because he want that $40 million post coronavirus.
That check cash the same way, whether you playing at 80% or
But
100%.
you know what Kevin Love saying? Y'all ain't gonna force a majority of these $40 million. This shit going in my pocket. You can force a majority of these nuts. That's what he gonna be saying. You can force a majority of these nuts. Fuck out of here. Give me my money. I'm staying right here in Cleveland.
Man, $40 million in Cleveland in a recession. You know what you can buy in
$40
Cleveland?
million in Cleveland is worth the
in a
anxiety.
recession?
G. Shout out to Kevin Love. Shout out to Kevin Love. I know
I'll
he
take
struggles
it.
with anxiety, but I know that $40 million worth
You
it.
could buy downtown.
I know that. I know
In this
that
market,
40 M's
you
worth
could probably,
it.
in this market, you could probably buy downtown.
Dead ass. Shout out
You
to Kevin
cannot
Love.
buy
though.
all of downtown Cleveland for $40 million,
Yeah.
but I feel you.
Yeah. But anyways,
Dan Gilbert already owns it all.
it's about that time to go ahead and get ready to get on out of here. John W., Thank you so much for coming through today to talk hoops with your boys, man. Go ahead, talk to the people, let them know where they can find you at, what all your info is. And yeah, man, let's go ahead. Let's get ready to get out of here. Hold on.
All right, I appreciate y'all for having me on. You can find me at John W. Davis on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Just look up John W. Davis, and you'll find me. As one of the previous guests says, I am also technically Googleable.
You talking about Glass of Malone. Shout out to Glass of Malone. Shout out to Mr. Fab as well, man. It's your boy TPJ. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at RealTPJ. That is ReelTPJ. It's a film joke. If you don't get it, you damn dummy. And as always, thank you guys for watching Hoops and Brews, the show co-stars rapper extraordinaire. Pavy, go ahead, get your plug in.
As always, man, follow me on Twitter at Pavy World, Pavy World, all one word. Yeah, Pavers.com. Go check it out.
Man, make sure you go check it out. Shout out to all the fans out there. This video will be going live on Monday morning. So shout out to everybody that watched. Shout out to everybody that watched the last doc. Go ahead, drop your last dance documentary comments below. Let us know which one of us is wilding out. As we continue to yell and scream at each other. I guess we don't have Steph Curry to yell and scream at each other with right now. So we just gonna use this. We're gonna be like Mike. Hold on. Who did Mike say that he was like nice game, Mike, or some shit like that? But he made it up and he made it.
Lee Bradford something.
Yeah. So
Lee Bradford, Darius, Lee Bradford something.
So until the NBA come back, we're just gonna Lee Bradford the situation with the last day's documentary. We need that fire. We in this bitch. But nah. Anyway, shout out to John W. As always, do not drink and drive if you're under the age of 18 in Canada or 21 in America. You better be fucking drinking. Don't do it. It's wrong. And as always, shout out to John W. Davis for coming through. Shout out to all of the fans out there. We love you guys. And until next time, it's been your boy TPJ of Hoops and Brews. Pavy, we will get up with y'all next time. And until then, peace out.
Still struggle with security, what's that life? I'm on a different wave at the Clippers game. Got your woman texting me while I'm talking to Doc. Phone ringing through the presser, had to text her to stop. While she sitting parallel to the niggas she got. I've been the realest since my rookie deal. 85 Mike when I pull up here.